The camera was recording because Marcus Ewan had set it up to catch the raccoon. There had been something getting into the trash on the back porch since October, and he had spent 3 consecutive Thursdays watching the bins get knocked over and finding no logical explanation. And he had borrowed a trail camera from his brother-in-law and mounted it on the porch railing facing the back door. He had told his wife, Priya, about the camera. He had not told her it was facing the inside as well, a mistake in the mounting angle that he had noticed and decided not to correct because the raccoon would trigger it from either direction. At 2:11 a.m. on a Tuesday, the camera triggered. Not a raccoon, their Labrador Bo. Bo was 6 years old and had never, in 6 years, been awake and active at 2 a.m. He was a dog who went to bed with the family and woke with the family and treated the hours in between as a professional commitment. The camera showed him rising from his bed in the corner of the living room, shaking once, and walking directly to the hallway. Marcus reviewed the footage 4 days later, after everything. At 2:11, Bo walked to the hallway. At 2:12, he stood outside their daughter's bedroom door. At 2:13, he pawed at the door, once, twice, a third time. At 2:14, the door opened. Their daughter Suki, age 5, stood in the doorway in her ladybug pajamas. She was sleepwalking. Suki had been diagnosed with sleepwalking 6 months prior. The sleep specialist had said it was common in children her age, often triggered by growth phases and overtiredness, and that the primary concern was environmental safety. Stairs, sharp corners, unlocked exterior doors. They had installed a door alarm on the front door. They had put a gate at the top of the stairs. They had been told she might not walk every night. At 2:14, she was walking toward the stairs. Bo moved between her and the staircase gate. She walked into him. He held his position. She pushed against him, still asleep, still reaching, and he stayed, absorbing the pressure, not moving. At 2:16, she turned and walked back toward her room. At 2:17, her door closed. At 2:18, Bo walked back to his bed in the living room, turned once, lay down, and did not move again until morning. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Marcus watched the footage on a Saturday morning when Priya was at the farmer's market. He watched it twice. He did not call Priya. He watched it a third time, advancing frame by frame through the section where Suki pushed against Bo's flank, and Bo simply did not move. He had the distinct and specific sensation of having narrowly missed something enormous. The stairs at their house had 14 steps. The gate at the top was latched but not locked. The latch required 2 steps, lift and push. Children in deep sleep do not consistently fail 2-step mechanisms. He called the sleep specialist. The sleep specialist was a measured woman who had been practicing for 19 years and who had a particular way of discussing pediatric sleep disorders that was simultaneously precise and deeply calm, which Marcus found either reassuring or infuriating, depending on the day. He described the footage. She was quiet for a moment. She said, "Dogs often respond to changes in breathing pattern and body heat that precede a sleepwalk episode. The cues are subtle but consistent. Mild elevation in respiratory rate, slight temperature change at the skin surface. Dogs with close bonds to specific family members can learn to recognize those patterns." She said, "Is she safe?" He said, "She is now." Has your dog ever done something that made no sense until it was the only thing that made sense? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. They never caught the raccoon on camera. They caught 4 additional Bo events over the following 8 weeks. Each time, Bo rose at night, moved to Suki's door, waited, and positioned himself between her and the staircase if she came out. each time she returned to her room. Each time Bo returned to his bed, Marcus mentioned the footage to his brother-in-law when he returned the trail camera. His brother-in-law, a practical man who installed industrial HVAC systems for a living, said, "Huh, and then you should keep that dog." Marcus agreed. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never ask for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. The sleep specialist adjusted Suki's protocol at the 6-month follow-up. The stair gate was upgraded to a model with a key-style lock that required deliberate pressure at 2 separate points. A second gate was installed at the bottom. The front door alarm received a volume upgrade. Bo's bed was moved to the hallway outside Suki's door. He accepted this without complaint. He has not missed a single episode since the camera went up. The raccoon, to Marcus's knowledge, has never been identified. Tomorrow, a story about an animal who detected something in a backyard that the whole neighborhood had missed for months, and a family who almost dismissed it as prey drive.